So Jordan Poole has been playing some of the best basketball that he's ever played as of recently, and Warrior fans are starting to get out of control with this. Due to the ongoing issues with roster construction, fans are starting to really miss Jordan Poole, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong with supporting a player after they're off your team. But so many Warrior fans are campaigning for Jordan Poole to be back on the Warriors and truly believing that he would solve the team's scoring problems and that his current production would translate to the Warriors. Here's every single reason why that will not happen and that the idea is just foolishness. The Washington Wizards have made Jordan Poole their franchise player. They have intentions of building around him, so therefore he's going to receive a ton of usage, a ton of shot attempts, and the offense is going to run through him. However, if he was somehow back on the Warriors, the circumstances would be different. Steph Curry is the backbone of that team, and the brand of basketball that's being played there is also different. Jordan Poole is currently averaging 21.7 points, 2.7 rebounds, and 4.9 assists on 43, 41, and 85 shooting splits. And that sounds good, right? Of course Warrior fans are going to rave about this. Until you have to factor in the fact that he shoots 16.1 field goal attempts per game. Steph Curry shoots 16.7 field goal attempts per game as the team's number one option. If Jordan Poole was going to replicate the same type of production that he has right now on the Warriors, he would have to A, take shots away from Steph, that's obviously not going to happen, or B, take shots away from other players on the team like Kuminga, Wiggins, Buddy, etc. That is also likely not going to happen because the Warriors have a playstyle that involves the entire team. There's a lot of passing, cutting, and player movement. They rank high in cut, handoff, and off-screen frequency. Jordan Poole will likely not thrive in that system the same way he is now where he's on the ball much more. His frequency rate as a pick-and-roll ball handler has shot up 4.7% since his last season in Golden State. And Golden State ranks among the lowest teams in pick-and-roll ball handler frequency. So it's clear that Steve Kerr doesn't like to employ a pick-and-roll playstyle, which is exactly how Jordan Poole is producing. He's not going to have the luxury to run free and put up any kind of shot that he wants. And to make things worse, he's not very efficient on most nights as well. On some nights he's like 8 for 19, 9 for 20, 7 for 17 from the field, and his shot selection can also be very poor, but that's also due to the situation that he's in. There's no expectations for him in Washington, as there would be if he's playing in Golden State. Another issue that will present itself is the position issue. Jordan Poole is clearly a point guard. He played the shooting guard position alongside Tyus Jones last season, and he was straight butt juice. He had a horrible season shooting the ball, scoring the ball, and just staying in the starting lineup. His on and off stats were horrible, his impact wasn't showing, it was looking ugly for him last season playing the 2 guard. And as we know, Steph cannot play the 2, that's already well known. If Jordan Poole is going to be back on this team, he's going to have to play the 2, where he's likely going to be a secondary ball handler and average more spot-up possessions. Again, that's outside of the playstyle that he's playing right now. And if you bring him off the bench, then you're giving him a smaller role, which is going to inevitably reduce his usage. And besides, he wouldn't even be a good starting point guard. He averages 4.9 assists, cool, but he's averaging 3.6 turnovers a game. His assist to usage ratio is horrible. So all of this indicates that he needs the same type of usage as Steph to produce second option like stats. And he's also a player that makes a ton of mistakes. And I didn't even get into the defensive side of things with how small the backcourt is. But I probably don't need to get into that since I think y'all get the point. The Warriors are absolutely horrendous on 2-point scoring. Their shot profile consists of 3-point scoring. Any 2-point field goals that include rim attempts, shots in the paint, or mid-ranges, the team hasn't been able to convert them at a high percentage. As a matter of fact, they've been straight buns. According to Cleaning the Glass, all shot attempts at the rim, short mid-range, and long mid-range areas have been in the 20th percentile ranks or worse among all teams in the NBA. And this problem consists of many issues like Steph not being able to finish at a high level this season. Wiggins has the same issue against good teams as well. Kuminga can finish at the rim, but that's about it. He can't finish outside of it. TJD literally can't make a contested layup. So it's clear that if the Warriors are going to bring someone else in, they have to be efficient or a threat in the paint or the post. Because too many times, teams will switch actions or they have legit rim protection presence and the Warriors can leave points on the board because they can't finish. However, trading for Jordan Poole is not going to solve that issue. His shot profile consists of pretty much the same thing as the Warriors. Lots of above the break 3-point jump shots, and that's primarily generated through his pick and roll game. And although his rim finishing percentage is above average among all point guards, his 2-point scoring in other areas is abysmal. Shots like floaters, finger rolls, and runners haven't gone down for him at a high rate. So if you imagine a scenario where he's closing with Steph and they need a bucket from him in crunch time, he's not going to provide that variety of scoring that the Warriors need. And yeah, sure, he can provide another 3-point shooting threat. Right now, Jordan Poole has the highest pull-up 3-point percentage rate among players who have attempted 3 or more pull-up threes. But against the best defenses in the world, especially in a playoff setting where they can switch 1 through 5 like Cleveland and Boston, or teams that have long, lanky defenders that can chase over the top like Minnesota and OKC, as a team, you gotta have players that have a counter, and Jordan Poole doesn't have that. And as a result, teams are going to put him on scouting reports and they're going to run him off the line or put 2 on the ball and force other players like Draymond, Wiggs, and JK to make a 2-point shot. Or he can force up bad shots. And lastly, I don't know if everybody has amnesia, but did y'all forget that Draymond is still on this team? I do not know why people are seriously considering Poole to be back on this team when Draymond still runs things in Golden State. Like, they didn't just magically make amends. They're definitely not on good terms. We played Washington earlier this year, and Draymond and Jordan Poole weren't even close to each other pre-game, let alone actually having a conversation. Everyone else like Steph, JK, Wiggs, and Loon will usually say what's up, but Draymond was just minding his own business. During the game, things got chippy. There was a possession where Poole was guarding Draymond on a post-up for a split action, and Poole fouled him deliberately. It wasn't even like a slick foul. He two-hand pushed Draymond when he was guarding him. And then there was the whole pointing back and forth mid-game as well. Jordan Poole definitely doesn't mess with Draymond. He never came out and publicly addressed the situation and how he truly feels about it, or how he feels about Draymond as well, or even if he's moved past the situation. So honestly, like, what makes you guys think that they can all of a sudden become teammates again and work together as a unit to win a championship? Their chemistry is going to be all messed up as well. Draymond even admitted that because of the Poole situation, he wasn't able to be as vocal and as leading during the season. And you already know Draymond on the court, he usually looks for problems. And I wouldn't count out the fact that he would do it with Jordan Poole on the court as well. So for people that think that he's going to tag team with Steph and both of them are going to drop 30 on every given night, and that's going to be the reason why the Warriors are back on track, you might want to stop whatever you're taking. Jordan Poole was a great chapter in the Warriors era that was great while it lasted. Unfortunately, not all great things last forever, and sometimes it's just better to let go and see someone do better, and that's what Jordan Poole is doing. And here's the thing, if Jordan Poole is back on the Warriors, can he help the team? Yeah, but does he move the needle to the point where you have to go out and get him back on the team? Absolutely not.